Are you
Going
live?
live. It looks really
Are you live?
dark. Is it?
I
Looks too
tried to turn
dark
on the
on
other
that
light, but you
screen.
kapooed it.
Well, it looks okay over here. It says we're live. Okay. Okay. Which of these brands would you consider buying from?
Why are you clicking all of them?
Because I would consider buying from any of them.
Because I would.
Why? Why not? We got a Bride G. We got a Charlie Stout. We got a Don Lovejoy.
And a DW low.
D.W. Low. DW, did you try to call me the other day? I think I got a missed call that had your name on it.
Neil Morgan and a nay.
Neil Morgan. So we're going to switch things up a little bit this weekend, or a whole lot of switch up.
Whole lot of.
Whole lot of switch up. Yeah. So here's the basic setup for the scenario we're going to be playing. I guess I really shouldn't go over
You should not go over
all
there.
of this stuff because I'm gonna go back and talk about it some more once we get started. I've got the characters made up for this. I've got some brand new spells to try out this weekend, and some spells that will be adjusted as well from last week. But overall, I'm not supposed to be talking about this, am I?
Nope.
Okay. What can we talk about instead? So Max has gone off on a big adventure.
Yes.
Tell everybody where Max went.
He went to the farm in Nebraska.
The farm in Nebraska.
Yeah. He is currently
So,
jumping in puddles at the park.
so that's pretty big stuff right there. He gets to see the big tractor. Hopefully, now last year
He got scared
He was kind of scared when it started up because it is really loud.
because it's a big boy tractor.
Yeah. It's crazy big. So, Perkysaurus, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Happy Festivus to you as well, sir. What all do they grow? Mostly like popcorn. Grow corn for popcorn.
Gourmet popcorn.
It is really good.
It is really good.
It is really good popcorn. It makes really good popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do some potatoes. They have they went back to pigs. They had a big problem with some sort of a soy something that was supposed to be shipped in, but it was the wrong one. It was like came from like some weird place. And it was the wrong one, so I had to ship it, and then
Texas.
They had to so their like time to plant and stuff was it was wonky.
Oh,
it was not a good.
Oh dear,
it was not a good.
Can't abide no wonky around here. Pretty much all we got is wonky.
Well, that's what we got, but I think farmers tend to want things to be a little less wonky.
A little less wonky.
Oh, but they had a tornado siren go off this evening.
In Nebraska.
They did.
Mm.
However, it was 20 miles away. So
well, that's still relatively close.
No worries. It was not close by.
That is close. 20 miles is close.
Comparatively, I mean, it was in a whole nother town.
Okay.
20 miles away.
Okay. If a tornado is within 20 miles of me, I'm going to duck and cover.
Is Garber 20 miles away?
Pretty close. Right about. Yeah.
Anyway, Max called home to check on us because he wanted to make sure that we were okay from the tornado.
Yeah. Hey everybody, this is Dave here at Pulp Alley, and I am with the world's most dangerous Bessy. We've been having a whole lot of fun.
A whole lot of
working on this these new spells and the new rules. So, as far as the basic rules for casting the enchantments, we're not changing that this week. I'm actually pretty happy with where we're at on the basic mechanics of the play. We may still, I am still going to do some tweaks to some of the spells, but at this point, I feel like I've really reached um, the milestone where I feel like I could get a playtester's guide put together and let y'all start using, the version that we have kind of settled on.
Mhm.
And oftentimes questions come up which we had not really planned on or foreseen. So that's a big help to us
Mhm.
when you guys
Absolutely.
ask questions about stuff that we really hadn't, thought of yet. So we'll try and get that put together. Hopefully sometime over the weekend, and then hopefully by next week we can share several pages of a quick little playtest guide just to talk about the enchantments and casting ephemeral spells. And hopefully by then I'll have at least some spells that I feel, that y'all can take on and play with. Um, and then that's kind of the main focus is balancing the spells,
Mhm.
trying them out, and getting a good feel for, are any of them too powerful? Are any of them too weak? Just look like there's no reason to take that one at all.
Yeah.
No audio and screen.
Hmm.
Has the start time been reset? Okay, I don't William Schmidt Matson. No audio and screen says live in 24 minutes. So yeah, I would let's see. Yeah, I would I guess if you can't hear me, then I can't really say anything. But yeah, try refreshing your screen. Type that in there for him. Hit try refreshing your screen. Um and we are live right now. We are officially live. Uh you're okay for me. Okay. I'm hearing and seeing real time. Okay. Okay for me. Okay. All right. Yeah, try refreshing. Okay. Hopefully. Hey William, I hope that got you in here. So let's talk about a little bit about the scenario that we have set up for this Sunday. So this is going to be a lot of fun. This is using the old Massacre Road as the basis, but it has a lot of tweaks and changes to it as well. So it's not just Massacre Road reskinned. It's kind of a rewrite of Massacre Road, and we're calling it Smuggler's Moon or Reaver's Moon or something like that. But basically, what the idea is that you're trying to the adventuring party, and that's what we're going to have in this scenario. Will be an adventuring party. So the attacker is basically going to try to capture the um, the character that's here in the center of the table. In this scenario, this is the sidekick of this gang of brew um, that has been terrorizing the area. So in this situation, they've caught her kind of with a small band of brew with her. Um, and the leader of the group and some of the other tougher brew are not on the table. So, what they're going to try to do is capture her or, put her down before the big bad guy shows up. And the big baddie may not show up at all. And if they can capture her, then that will significantly reduce their ability to terrorize the area. So that's what their goal is. However, they are going to be accompanied by some locals. In this situation, part of our story is that they are some rivermen that work on the Zola Fell River, the River of Cradles. So they're coming along to give a helping hand and root out this group of evil brood that are in the area. However, they could be walking into a trap, and the rivermen could switch sides, and the big baddie could show up, and the adventuring party could find themselves um, fighting an uphill battle if the way it works is when you're drawing your rewards, if it's a trap is drawn,
It's a trap.
then that means it's a trap, and several things happen. The rivermen all of a sudden switch sides. The evil brew leader and his two allies also show up and can appear anywhere on the table as if they were basically hiding, waiting for the adventuring party to come in close where they could spring it on them. So they are, or the adventuring party may go through the whole thing, beat down my little wimpy brew that are out here and capture the witch without any problem, without the big baddie even showing up. So we'll just have to see which way it goes. We do have some new spells this week. So as far as the adventuring party is concerned, we have a Praxian nomad. She's a hunter, so she's a pretty good archer. And the spell that she has is called um, Lucidus. And what it allows her to do is basically see even when it's dark or things like that. So, although this will be a nighttime mission, scenario and everybody else is going to be limited to line of sight of 12 inches, she's actually going to be able to see from further away. Another thing that she has is the dead eye ability. So she is not limited to shooting at the nearest target. I'm going to kind of regret doing that. I'm afraid that she's going to possibly sit back and try and take out my witch. Um, so I'm gonna maybe have to find a place to hide from her. I don't know. And then our next character that we'll look at is Lorne, a Yelmalian. Uh, and he's going to be casting the Agio ability, so that beefs up his might and his brawl skill. We are going to give him the sword and shield ability. So while he is ready, he gets an extra +1 to his brawl. And then there is Kwanu, the duck here. He is a Humakt, he is a warrior, and he has the sword and shield ability. So once per brawl, he can either re-roll his own brawl dice or force an enemy to re-roll one of their dice. He will also have the Agio spell. And lastly, we have our healer. So we're going to have basically a designated healer in this scenario. And she has uh, four different spells. So, Dave, you're going to have a big selection of spells. She has absolutely no brawl skill and no shooting skill. She does have a dodge, and then she's pretty good at some of her other stuff, but she has no brawl and no shooting at all. So she's got a Vento, so she could cast the kind of like an armored spell either on herself or a friend within 12 inches. That will not stack if somebody is already armored, though.
Mhm.
There's Vismundus, which will try to knock out enchantments. So that could knock out enchantments that are on your characters, uh, or enchantments that are on enemy characters as well. So that can try and knock out some enemy enchantments, either that are harming you or they're helping the enemy. Oculomalus is one that the witch will have, and that basically throws a spell on an enemy character. And every time they activate, they're either going to have to discard a card or face a random peril. So that could be bad too. And then, yeah, Averto is another new one. So we'll be also using some of the old spells we've
Mhm.
already been playing. I don't have all the spells figured out for everybody yet. So the brew will also have some spells. Uh, this is kind of based on the world of Glorantha, which is the role playing game RuneQuest, which is probably one of my favorite role playing games. I really love RuneQuest. And it's a very magical world. Almost every character, everybody, everything in the game can pretty much cast spells. It's just a very magical world. Um, and so big beefy new rule book for it, and tons of material out there for RuneQuest. Just a huge world. I really like the setting for RuneQuest as well. This is what the starter box for RuneQuest looks like. A nice starter box that includes some rules in it, and some adventures and stuff like that. So that's the setting that we're going to be playing in. But of course, we'll be using Pulp Alley to play it in. I do like RuneQuest. I think it's a cool system, and still, still to this day, one of my favorite role playing games. And this will kind of be playing on that, so it gives me an opportunity to kind of play in that setting, but to play it with Pulp Alley, and then see how the spells relate. The spells that we've designed kind of relate to, um, different settings. One of the fun things I think is that when we do different settings like this, it makes me think of new spells that I would like to include. As an example, Lucidus that the hunter has in this, um, I noticed that the scenario was automatically being played under darkness, so line of sight was going to be limited um, to no more than 12 inches for everybody. And I was like, well, that I got that hunter in there that has her bow and everything, and I thought, well, that's kind of stinky. So it gave me the idea. Well, let's put a spell in there. That could be her spell, so that she can see
Mhm.
farther away.
Yeah.
So she's the only character in the scenario that can actually has a line of sight over 12 inches. Everybody else is limited to 12 inches. What Derek say?
Oculomallardus.
Mallardus. Yep. Yep.
That
Yep.
made me laugh.
Old school RuneQuest races. Yes. Yep. Howard's cousin. Yep. Not Howard. Sweet duck. Yep. Yeah. That's one of the fun things. There's a lot of cool races in RuneQuest. Yeah. Yep. It's a duck. It is a duck right there. Um, And yeah, it's I'm not going to get too heavy into the lore and everything for RuneQuest. It'll be playing, of course, in my mind, all the backstory and the history and everything. But I'm not going to dwell on that. It's really going to be, about the scenario and the events of it. And as stuff comes up, then it'll happen. For example, Chalana Roy, the cult that our healer is part of. Um, they pretty much have strict tenets about not causing harm. So she will not brawl and she will not shoot. She's got a good dodge and she has spells that she can throw, but she doesn't really have any spells that are going to cause harm. I almost should have gave her the harmless ability. That might have been interesting because most races will tend to kind of avoid trying to bring harm to a Chelana Roy, to a healer, because they will, then maybe they won't be as nice to you. They won't give you as much healing if you go around, attacking the healers so much.
Yeah, I
So,
wouldn't heal you.
right, right, right. So there is that. Um,
Of course, I don't know that I could be a healer.
yeah,
To do no harm.
yeah, yeah. First, do no harm. I see Finish Games has an army of duckness thing up at the Mo. Lots of ducks. Somebody else I saw with some ducks recently. This duck here, and I think this is a really good one. I haven't seen the Fenris one. This duck here is by Lucid Eye, and it comes in a pack with four others. Check out his shield. Check out that lovely work there by Damian Larson. Painted these up for us. I think Damien painted all of the figures that you see on the table today that we'll be using on Sunday. He painted all these for us. So just a big thank you to Damian Larson for stepping
Heck
up
yeah.
and painting some stuff for us so we had a better selection of miniatures to play with on Sundays. So
That makes me so happy.
we're having a lot of fun stuff. What is it? What happened?
Yeah, the shield.
The shield. Look at that. Look at that awesome stuff. And that was his idea, or maybe the Mrs. Larson. I don't know which, but yeah, a big thanks to them for helping us out and getting some stuff painted up for us. Um, what else do we have to go over? So Max is up in Nebraska at the farm in Nebraska. Um, I'm excited to see if he will ride the tractor this year.
Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, I hope he does. Duck, you're my friend in battle. My battle duck. There's Damien, yes, up there. Jez Hunt, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate that. Awesome, awesome. Yes, yep. They look very RuneQuest. Yes, I think Lucid Eye actually has a bunch of figures that feel RuneQuesty. They have that ziggurat line of miniatures that are kind of ancient, and I think there's a lot of stuff in there that crosses over and would work to my eye. Everybody's RuneQuest can be different, but to my eye, there's a lot of their ziggurat line of figures that would look really good in RuneQuest. Dragon Bait Miniatures also has a bunch of stuff that we're going to be using in our RuneQuest. So we'll do 3 or 4 games in this. It is a very magical world, so even most of the brew will also have limited access to spells as well. Those look great as lunars and the like. Yep, yep, absolutely. Does the shield squeak when you hit it? Oh, I think it might. I think it might indeed. Okay. Um, spells that we changed, and we're gonna try a little bit different this week. Um, I felt like the Agio enchantment was having to be cast too frequently. For what it does, it gives you the bonus to your might and to your brawl. And in a RuneQuest sort of situation, once it was cast, it would pretty much stay up for like I think it's 15 minutes or so, maybe 5. But longer than what?
That's a bit of a gap.
Well, minutes is minutes. Um, but a lot of times it would stay up throughout a normal encounter. So I felt like I wanted to go that way with the Agio as far as an enchantment. I wanted it to stay up longer. So once Agio is cast, unless the opponent has something to knock that enchantment down, we're not going to keep track of the tokens. The only reason to put tokens on it is for if the opponent has a counter spell or a dispel or something like that to try and rip that spell down, then you need the tokens on there. Otherwise, the tokens are not going to get used.
Right.
So once you cast Agio, you can count on it staying up. And it just felt like it was being cast too often. And if you only roll one success, you're only going to get one boost out of it. And then the next turn, you're going to have to cast it again. Pulp Alley moves so fast, you can't be sitting there casting the same spell multiple times and progressing through the scenario. So we're going to start off with casting them probably, and then from there on, it'll stay up unless the opponent does something to knock it down.
Yeah.
In Mindo, I didn't change Sana Purus, which was renamed from Sana Tactus.
Yeah, that got changed.
It did get changed. It is now an action rather than a full action. So you can move 6 inches, but it still has a very short range of 3 inches.
Yep.
So I think it's a powerful spell. So I think it deserves some limitations in there. And I think we're going to end up maybe trying to use demons again, which is the spell that casts on an enemy, and every time they activate, they have to
roll a horror
roll
check.
for a horror check. I also thought of another version of that spell, though, that you would cast on yourself. And what it did is it made you horrific. So it just basically, anytime somebody came within 12 inches of you, they had to deal with the horror. That could be a better version of the spell. We're still going to try demons the way it is in this scenario, but that could be another version. Of trying that spell. So that's something for you guys to kind of try out once you get your hands on some of these spells and start play testing them. You could try some variants like that. And I think that's me talked out. Anything exciting or new? Damien, do you have a website you ought to look over? I think he's got something on.
Is it Hamster of Destruction?
Hamster of Destruction on Etsy, I think. I don't know that it's still active or not, but go over to Etsy and check that out. Hamster of Destruction. And he has some different things, some different projects that he does over there as well. Yep. All right. Is that it for now?
I think so.
All right. Be sure and join us on Sunday. We have a new video that posts every day at 10 o'clock. If you're not subscribed to our silly little channel, take a moment and get subscribed. Also, take a moment right now and hit that like button if you enjoyed what we presented tonight. We'd appreciate that. Hit the bell so you get a notification. And that's it. Yep, there's Damien, Hamster of Destruction on Etsy. All right, everybody. Bessy, play us out of here. Bessy. Dave. Doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.